Episode 9. Ooh, wee. Yeah, baby. Welcome back. I'm Sammy Paley. Thank you so much for being here. It would mean a lot to me if you would hit the subscribe button down below. I want us all to grow together. And if you're new here, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back. Your viewership just means the world to me. A little bit about me and this page. This page is about, well, it's called AYP with SP. It's about awakening your potential. And it is my deepest belief that we all have potential, and very few of us actually reach that potential and tap into it. So my objective with this page is to help us awaken our potential through 4 avenues of study. The first is perspective. The second is taking action. The third is awakening your potential. And then the fourth is book summaries, as I believe reading books and studying the great works of the best authors is such a great way to awaken our potential. And that's my dream, is to become an author. I want to eventually create books. I have a book idea on perceptions, and I have a book on becoming that person, which means being kind and overflowing your cup of love so you can give it back to the world. And I have another one on showing up consistently, and I'm working on a project right now about energy management, and it's something I'm very naive to, but I'm kind of the student in it, and the author itself, Rosie Reeder, is kind of the master. She kind of teaches us about energy, so learning how to do all that kind of stuff. And yeah, just lots going on. So it's been very exciting so far. It's been very fulfilling. Your viewership is what makes this possible, and I just hope that you can gain value from what I talk about every week. So welcome back. Thank you for being here, and let's get into this week's lesson. So when I say I want to talk about perspective, I like to try to think of things in different ways. So in the world of business and just living in general, we always hear of the word authenticity. But what does that mean, authenticity? Well, authenticity, in my opinion, is when you are congruent. And to be a congruent person, which the title implies, are you a congruent person, is when your gut... Hey, garbage man, quiet on the set! Your heart, your head, and your body are all congruent. They're all in harmony. Basically what that means is if there's a disconnect between any of those 4 dimensions, so spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical, then you're not going to be an authentic person. There's going to be some sort of disconnect, and there's going to be just a little bit of resistance. So I'll give you a few examples. Let's say you're in a relationship, and in your gut, you know this person is not the right person for you. But in your heart, you love this person, you don't want to detach. Mentally, you can see the signs, the toxic traits that people have. Maybe you just don't jive, you're not in a good setting. And then the physical action itself, you still love them, you still try to treat them well and all that. But if there's a disconnect, if there's a discongruence between your gut, your heart, your head, and your outward physical action, it's inauthentic. And your deepest desire that you can tell your gut's where you know stuff, is that this person just isn't the right fit, and there's someone out there who will lead to congruence between you, so you need to find that. So let's look at another example, like a career example. And we all want to find jobs that we love, but unfortunately, many of us don't ever find that. We're stuck in jobs. We might be there for the wrong reasons. We might be there because of pay incentives or whatever, but if you don't truly feel you belong, then there's a disconnect. You're inauthentic. There's a discongruence.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
So let's say, for example, you work at a restaurant and you're a server. And you know in your heart that the people there, the owners, everything else, they don't treat you well. And emotionally, you feel you need to move on. But mentally, you know you get lots of tips, you get lots of gratuities, so you keep going to this job. And you kind of, every day you wake up and you're like dreading going to work. And then your physical action will suffer because there's a discongruence there. So in your heart of hearts and in your gut, you know you should move on. But because mentally you know you're making lots of gratuities and you're making good money, it's hard for you to move on. But when you do move on, and you finally find that job, that career, the purpose, that's what we all search for, is our purpose in life. When you find that, and there's a congruence between your gut, heart, head, and outward action, then you'll be fulfilled immediately. Isn't that the point? Isn't the point of everything to become fulfilled, to get the most out of this life? I would much rather personally work at a job making $50,000 a year than a job that I hate making $100,000. And I know that might just be me. Everyone has different values and different ways of looking at life, but isn't the goal to be as fulfilled as possible? When you're authentic, you're fulfilled. And that's exactly what I'm trying to talk about today, trying to emphasize. I know it's hard to maybe understand that we can literally understand our surroundings more by understanding our internal world. And that's why it's crucial to have an awareness and to gain perspective of yourself and to just look at the person in the mirror and become best friends with them and to really get to know them so that you can be congruent, which means you're authentic, which means ultimately you're fulfilled. So you may be wondering why I talk about congruence and authenticity. Like, what does that have to do with becoming an author? And the explanation is, one, I feel like it's just a transformative understanding of your body, which can lead to your outward action. But two, it also is one of the chapters in the book I'm working on called Perceptions, or more specifically, the perception tree. So in this book, in the outline, it's gonna change countless times over. And once I'm graduated from university, I'm still a business student now. I'm gonna kind of dive fully into it. But what the book concept is, it's all about changing how we perceive the world so that we can have a fulfilled outcome. And why it's called the perception tree is because we first need to go down to our roots before our branches and the fruit that we eventually give to the world can be maximized. So the roots are awareness, which an awareness of yourself helps you become a congruent person. And the second root is congruence. So again, harmony between your gut, heart, head, and outward action. The third root is just the big picture. This is kind of values and beginning with the end in mind, which I talked about in a past episode and which Stephen Covey talks about in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And then the fourth root is taking responsibility for every single thing in your life. So let's say you get cut off in traffic and your first instinct is to yell at the person who cut you off. And what I mean by how you react is you might not be in control of this person cutting you off, but you are in control of how you perceive the situation and how you react. You're responsible for everything. And that's what Mark Manson talks about often in The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F. Oh, did you think I was going to say you thought I was going to, I wouldn't say that. Fix auto. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Recently on my Instagram, check that page out. I put up a poll that said, do you prefer the YouTube videos being over or under 10 minutes? And the majority, like vast majority, said under 10 minutes. So as a promise to that, I'm trying to keep it brief, concise, to the point. And if you've watched past episodes, you've seen me put a paperclip into a jar. And it is a tradition. I do it every single episode because it's symbolic of showing up and taking action, which is the second area I want to help teach and also help learn myself. So why I have this jar, in here you can see that there's 8 paper clips already. And every single episode I complete and post out there, I get to put another paper clip in there. And if you're watching this in January of 2022, you're one of the day ones. This is only episode 9. And as we continue to make episodes and grow together, this jar will just continue to fill up and fill up. So again, thank you so much for watching today. I really appreciate your viewership. And if you could subscribe down below, that would mean the world to me. But thank you very much. Episode 9 is now complete. Have a great day, and I'll see you all in a week.